we were kind of the joke of the NFL. And now that we're good, it still is a bit surreal.
Thanks for joining me at Storytime Sports.
And today by Megan Stefanski, who was the 2024 Detroit Lions Fan of the Year and the 2025 Ultimate NFL Fan of the Year. Not only does she wake up at 2 a.m. and drive 5 hours each way to go to Ford Field from the Upper Peninsula for every home game, but she's a committed road warrior, the author of a Lions fandom children's book, an elementary school librarian, and until recently also somehow worked 40 hours a week at her family's Lions-themed bar and grill to fund her NFL passions. She goes by Youper Girl, the daughter of Youper Man, who was a beloved Lions fan and a kind of fan of the year before that was even officially a thing. And she started her football journey as a child, going to games with her dad. I've heard that you wear Dan Campbell earrings to every game. Is this accurate?
I'm very superstitious. Every year I'll have like something little new I add to my outfit. And this year, I have these really cool Dan Campbell earrings. And I started wearing them. Well, of course, we start playing well. And then I'm like, I can't take them off. That's how I get. I had this one necklace that I started wearing right before we beat Kansas City in Kansas City for the 23 season. And I'm like, I can't take it off. I can't take it off. And it was like, I got to the point where someone was like, what's wrong with your neck? Your neck's really red. And I'm like, yeah, I'm allergic to the chain that it's on. And they were like, take it off. Are you crazy? And I'm like, no, I can't. And this kept up until last season. And actually, after I wore it to the playoff game and I actually tore it off because I'm like, I'm allergic to it. I need to not wear it. And this will make me not wear it again. So, the necklace is so good. I just got to change the chain. It's just silly things like that. Like for a while, like how the Lions kept wearing we call them the blueberries, when they would wear the blue pants with the blue jerseys. And I got to the point where I quit wearing jeans. I quit wearing black leggings. I had to wear my blue pants or like this blue skort thing when it was hot weather games because I'm like, no, I have to stick to the all blue.
That's incredible.
It's or crazy, one or the other. I usually do the earrings. I have the bracelets. I don't know if you can see them, the Lions bracelets. My watch is always a Lions. I don't know. So I always have jewelry year round. The earrings were new. So we'll see what next year brings.
Where does one buy Dan Campbell earrings?
Etsy. They're very popular, actually. They've gotten very popular.
I bet like all the players actually likely have them. You've got me thinking about the draft and I'm thinking about the Dan Campbell like head cutout that was shoved in our faces during
We've actually had him for the last 3 drafts he's been there.
Really?
It was just that this year my one friend was a little crazy about it.
It was great. It kept popping up at the best times.
Yeah, they were getting mad at us. The camera guys were not happy.
But they can't control you, right? You can do what you want.
I actually posted on Twitter. I'm like, let's make this a drinking game now, guys. Every time you see the Dan Campbell head, and they were like, yeah, we'll die.
It was so large. It was incredible. Yeah. Favorite Lions tradition.
So it sounds funny, but when I pull out of my driveway, which 2:30 in the morning, I just always say, we're going to win today. And that's just my thing.
I love that.
And then it's great when I come home and I'll be like, we won today.
Have you ever considered moving closer to Ford Field?
I've thought about it. Right now, like my grandma and my mom are here. So I feel like, my family's here. But that's not saying that couldn't change someday either. So it's a possibility. The right thing pops up.
But for the foreseeable future, it'll be those 5-hour drives.
Yeah. And I probably don't have to keep leaving at 2 a.m. It was hard before because someone had to run a restaurant, do all that. Now, I can probably take a little more time and go stay the night before.
Right.
We'll see. It's tradition too, though.
Yeah. And you have no idea which of those things that you do ensures that the team wins. So you can't drop anything.
Megan lives in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, which is why she's doing these long drives to Ford Field early in the morning. I was curious what the football vibes were like in a place that splits its fandoms between Lions and Packers.
Through my research, it seems like the UP is more Packers territory. Is that true?
Yeah, it's about 50-50. It's half and half. I'd say more Lions fans are sprouting up now that we're good. But growing up in the Brett Favre turning into Aaron Rodgers era, it was a lot of Packers fans.
How was that at school?
It was tough. I remember coming home from school one day and asking my dad, I'm like, can I be a Packers fan? Everybody's Packers fans. And he's like, no. This is a dictatorship. You will be a Lions fan. And I was young and it was just kind of like, okay. And it was fun going to games and everything, but it was a long ride home.
Yeah, I wondered if you ever protested as a child. I feel like it's very hard to motivate yourself to do that.
I mean, I didn't go to every game as a kid. We only went to a couple, and I didn't get to do the whole leave at 2 a.m. thing until I was old enough to drive. My mom went with us. We stayed the night at a hotel with a swimming pool when we were kids, that kind of thing. He would take different people to every game. It wasn't until, I mean, really out of college, because even in college, I would go to like 4 games max a year. It was too tough.
Okay. So really like full adulthood is when you started truly committing.
Yeah, and even then, I didn't go to every game with him. That wasn't until, well, it's been a decade now. I haven't missed a game.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I would imagine you were kind of readily accepted and absorbed into the fold at tailgates, at games, because you were there with your dad, who was such an institution.
Yeah. Someone had to cook the bratwurst while they were all drinking, and I had to be responsible to drive home.
An important role to play. I love that. I'm kind of curious about any pet peeves. You mentioned that there are a lot of bandwagon fans now for the Lions. Now that
There are a
you're
lot.
winning.
There's a lot, but there's also a lot of new fans. And like when I say that, like I meet people from all over the US at games. And whenever I meet someone my age that lives, I don't know, like for example, I have a friend in Philly. I have a friend in California, and they're Lions fans and they're my age, and I'm like, what made you a fan? And it's always Barry Sanders.
Really?
And then you meet someone, you know, like a decade younger, and it's like Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford. And like, as I said, when I was a kid, it was hard living here because the Packers were so good. But then for a while, you saw a ton of Michigan kids become Patriots fans because of Tom Brady. And then you see a bunch of Kansas City fans. And now what's great is you see so many little Lions fans. And they all have, you know, St. Brown or Hutchinson jerseys or Goff jerseys. And it's great when I meet their parents at games out of state and they're like, my kid has just become a Lions fan. And I think that's pretty
incredible.
great too. Yeah. So it is, I mean, you can say bandwagon fans because so many people in Michigan were tired of watching the losing for all those years. But there are so many younger fans that are becoming Lions fans now.
Yeah. And it sounds like it's kind of nationwide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome. I also love that it's not just the one superstar player, you know, it's not just the one wide receiver or the quarterback, but people know everyone on the roster now.
Yep.
I wonder if social media helps that, all of these players having kind of a presence online too.
I feel like it does. Plus, like the reason, I remember as a kid, the reason my dad always said that you were a Lions fan or a Packers fan was when you turn the TV on Sunday morning, what do you get to watch? So when we turn on, like if you just turn your TV on to Fox on Sunday morning, it's going to be the Lions. But if you drive an hour from here, you turn it on, it's the Packers. But now with Sunday Ticket and everything else, kids can watch whatever they want. And they're going to watch who's good, and they're going to watch who's on prime time. And the Lions have been primetime stars the last 2 seasons. So what people can see is what they're interested in.
That makes sense. How have you gotten through some of the tough times? I think many of your early years would have been spent with a lot of losses.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know what it was like to have a good team until a couple of years ago, you know? I mean, no matter what, I was always loyal. I was always there. It was fun. You had friends, but we were kind of the joke of the NFL. And now that we're good, it still is a bit surreal. And, you know, you'll see players or you'll see, you know, players giving it their all. And then you'll see fans like lose their minds. So like last year, we lost to Buffalo and people were losing their minds. And I'm like, we've only lost 2 games all season. All season, 2 games. Like, that's crazy, you guys. But it's like they get used to winning and then they just don't know what to do. Like, there was a year we didn't even win 2 games, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Or we didn't even win a game until December in 2021. I mean, 3 seasons ago, we didn't even win a game until December. And now we're mad because we've lost 2.
So you try to remain that like kind of optimistic person who's also grounded in what has come before.
I'm just like, you know, and I feel like you have to look at like in life that way too. Like you're not always going to be up, you know, and there's going to be ups and downs. And just because you lose one week doesn't mean you're not going to go out and kill the 49ers the next week, right? I mean,
absolutely. Love that.
Now I'm just like, we're winning all the time. It's crazy. And then the wins after the game, I would always like hold up my fingers, how many games. And it used to just be like, okay, I'll get 5 or 6 up a season. And now I'm like, I'm I'm gonna have to start using my toes soon. I'm out of fingers. I had to use friends next to me. It's a good problem to have.
Definitely, definitely, but overwhelming nonetheless.
Yes, yes. Now I feel like it's like a lot of pressure. Like we have to keep it up this year. And we have
Yeah,
a tough
yeah.
schedule this year, a very tough schedule.
But you also have an amazing team
We do.
and a great coach and a wonderful
Yep.
front office that we're all
Yep.
jealous of.
Yep.
Community gets fans through the losses as much as it fires people up during the wins. I wanted to know more about what her league-wide friendships mean to Megan.
I have new friends I meet every year, but I also have really good friends at certain teams that I'm always excited when we're playing that team because they treat me really well. And I know I always have a place to stay if I need to, a seat, a tailgate, and I try to welcome them to Ford Field the same way. We try to sit with each other so it's not as pricey. Like the section I sit in at Ford Field, section 100, they're used to me having an opposing fan sit with me every week. They know they're going to be a cool person. They all are very respectful. They know they're big fans too. I mean, you can hope for that at every away game. It doesn't always happen.
I think people can feel intimidated entering fan spaces, and you do such a good job of kind of welcoming people of all levels of fandom to your tailgates and really encouraging people to join in wherever they're at. I'm wondering if you have advice for people who are feeling still like a little intimidated by entering it, but want to be part of a fan community.
Yeah, I'm always like, you know what? Just walk up to a tailgate or walk up to a party or a meet and greet. And that's why I like to post stuff and be like, this is where it's at. You're welcome if you want to come. Because I feel like a lot of people want to travel or they want to attend a game or they want to just like hang out with people like them, things they're interested in. Especially like women. Like I've met so many women that are like, well, I don't have anyone to go with. And I'm like, just go by yourself. It'll be fine. I'll be there. There'll be other girls there. And then once they do it, they feel more comfortable. Same with, I had a mom message me. She lives near Vegas and her son wanted to go to a game so bad, but she was really nervous about it. And I said, don't be, come to the tailgate, even though it's an opposing team, you'll love it. And she did. And now I meet up with them every year on the road because it just made her
Wow.
feel comfortable that, it was going to be okay. And that there's like fans that aren't like that.
At this point, you might be thinking, wow, Megan sounds like the nicest fan alive. And you'd be correct. There's a reason she won the NFL's coveted Fan of the Year award last season. I wanted to learn more.
So I've been researching the NFL Fan of the Year process and how it all goes. And I assumed it was like Man of the Year, like the Walter Payton Man of the Year, where they give money to the charity of choice for the Fan of the Year. But it doesn't seem like that's a thing yet.
It's not. I really wish it was. I think that would be a really great thing when you win Fan of the Year that your charity gets a check because, I mean, it's a write-off for them. It's money for your charity. The Lions are really good to me, though. Like, they're always donating signed items for me to auction off at. I have a live auction every year, a Hospice at the UP benefit. So they're always really good about sending me stuff to auction off to raise money.
Lovely. My guess is the Fan of the Year kind of official concept is fairly new, right? It's 5 years-ish.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it will evolve with time.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can just spread the the desire to have a sort of charitable component, because as I was reading the profiles, I was so struck by the things that people are supporting and the things they care about, and just seems like a great way for the NFL to give back even more than they already do.
Yeah. There are some amazing people that were fans of the year this year that I met, and to hear their stories, it was pretty cool.
Is going to the draft part of what the NFL gives you as Fan of the Year? Like you get to go to the Super Bowl, NFL honors, and then also the draft, or is that just a separate kind of thing
that was
you've
just
been
separate.
embarking on? Okay.
Yeah, that was just separate. This is actually my 4th, I think. It's a good time though. Especially, all of the other fans from other teams, and it's a good time. Sometimes you get to meet your draft pick if they're there. So that's pretty cool. And like I have photos over the years of like Aiden getting drafted and coming over and saying hi, and J-Mo coming over and saying hi. A picture with Brian Branch. After they get drafted and they come over to the fans. So I think that's pretty cool. That's like they're welcome to
awesome.
Detroit.
That's really cool. You've met all of these players in person, but also all of these celebrities. You've met like John Hamm. Are you ever starstruck by them? Or do you feel like you're just completely immune to it now? You're just like, these are my buddies.
They're not my buddies. They don't know who I am. I'm pretty starstruck by it. I mean, so that happened, the John thing happened at the NFL honors, which was really funny because the NFL honors is like the coolest thing I've ever been to. I think that was cooler than the Super Bowl even.
Really?
Yeah, it was wild because you're like sitting in this amazing theater with like Snoop Dogg as the host, and everybody is like dressed up like they're at the Grammys, except for the fans, like except for the fan of the years. We have to wear our jerseys. Like there's no getting around it. So I have my jersey on and I just put like a sparkle jacket over it. And then they're like, okay, we're going to come get you, put you in the green room. And I kind of like had rehearsal earlier. So I got to meet Jamie Erdahl and do all the backstage stuff. But I'm like, okay, the green room, cool. So they take me in there and they're like, okay, just sit here till someone comes to get you. So I'm sitting on the couch, like, all right, I don't know who it was a bunch of girls in there. I didn't know who they were. And then like someone sat next to me and I just kind of looked over and I was like, okay, Micah Parsons just sat next to me on the couch. And then that's when John Hamm walked by and he's like, hey, I love your coat. I love your jacket. And I was like, thanks, John Hamm. It was wild.
Wait, did you acknowledge Micah to your side, or were you just like, I'm going to play it cool?
I didn't. I was just kind of like, hey. And he was like, hi. like, who are you? Which I think it was pretty obvious because I'm like, got a jersey on. And then when they brought me out there, like, obviously that was weird, like standing on the corner of the stage because like all the players just kind of like walked by. But it was very strange.
Whereas at the Super Bowl, like most of the people you were running into, you were just like out on the street kind of hanging out and haven't turned into
That was weird. Weirdest and coolest thing I think about having the Super Bowl in New Orleans is it's such a small, like intimate little town that like for the most part people are on Bourbon or Royal Street. So like we would just be like standing in the middle of Bourbon Street and I'd be like, oh, hey, there's Dave Portnoy. Oh, there's John Gruden. Oh, hey, you're in this small town, but it's not a small town.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was cool though.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems like you held your own, you kept it calm.
Yeah, I had all my friends with me. They were a little bit crazy. Like they were definitely singing the fight song to Jared Goff as he walked out of a restaurant. And I was like, guys, be cool. Like, be cool.
Oh my gosh. Did you ever consider a career in sports?
I didn't really. And now I kind of wish I would have because I'm like, I don't know why I didn't. I don't know.
There were fewer women in sports at all levels, I would say, when we were younger.
Yeah. And so now I'm just like, I don't know why I didn't. I should have. But
what do you think you would have dabbled in if you could go back in time?
The sports journalism or the sports marketing or something like that. I think I would have been really good at that.
How did you find your way into being a librarian?
An English degree, like I feel a lot of people do. And it just kind of came up to work here at this is actually the school I attended. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And I just really love it. It's great. And it's nice because it's a school/public library and there's not that many left in the state. We have 4 up here in our area just because it's so much smaller. So I have the public that can come in, but for the most part, it's the kids all day I deal with. And then in the summer, I get a lot of summer residents, things like that. It's free Wi-Fi in a small area.
Okay. Megan not only serves the community through her work as a librarian, but through her commitment to charity as well.
I think it would be lovely to talk a little bit about the Hospice of the EUP, if you don't mind, which is your huge cause.
Yep. That is my charity of choice. It's the only completely free hospice in the state of Michigan. It's really great because when you go there, it doesn't feel like a medical facility. It feels like a home. You walk in, you're in a living room, there's a kitchen, there's a piano, there's a nice little porch out there. And residents are in their rooms, but there's also room for their family to stay there. Volunteers come in and cook meals or have local restaurants have meals delivered for families, whether they're there a day or 6 months. And like the basement is entirely like donations of paper products, canned foods, juices, things like that. So that's also needed too. They have a monthly wish list.
That's incredible. Okay. And if people wanted to donate, which I will definitely be doing right after this, they can go to hospiceoftheeup.com/donate.
Yeah. And then there's different ways on there that it tells you that you can donate. I know they do have a Venmo. They also have where you can just send a check and different ways like that.
And then if people want to find out about your live auction or other things that you're putting on, how can they do that best?
They'll usually share it on their Facebook page. I'll share it on my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter pages. A lot of my friends will as well to get the word out. It's always the second weekend in July.
And people can find you on social media at blue_Jeep.
Yep, on Twitter or my name on Facebook.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Megan, thank you so much for joining today. I'll put all of your contact details and the Hospice of the EUP details in the show notes for everyone. And hope to see you during games this season on my TV.
Yeah, it was great chatting with you. If
Lovely
you ever
to
get
chat
to
with you.
Ford Field, hit me up.
I definitely will.
Thanks for listening to Storytime Sports. Reach out to Football Fangirl 23 if you or someone you know wants to chat about your fandom. And if it's professional athletes you're more interested in, check out Storytime Sports on TikTok or Instagram for humanizing deep dives on your favorite athletes. Until next time.